Let's get to the touchpad. Edwin Kwakofi is here. Edwin, how are you doing?
Hello, Nathan.
I know. I've seen the internal WhatsApp messages. Some people have been saying all kinds of things. Don't mind them.
They are questioning
your insights.
It's fine. We had a very good game yesterday.
Okay. Just your own thoughts on the tie before we get into the analysis.
Well, I thought this was probably the best game Ivory Coast had played. Offensively, they were really, really good. Probably should have scored more than they did, the one they did, and we'll get to that soon. But also defensively, apart from a few shaky moments early in the game, midway through the game, I thought they handled the pressure really, really well from their fans, even from DR Congo, who didn't show up on the day, but it was largely because Ivory Coast set up in a way that it didn't allow them to show up. And I think it's good for them to put in their best performance before the final against Nigeria. They need that momentum to go into the final, taking on probably the best team at this tournament this year. So it's good for them that their players have the feeling that they dominated the game, have a feeling that they deserved to win a game, and going into the final, they'll probably fancy their chances a lot with their fans screaming in the stands and their players coming off a very, very good win.
I hope they are able to handle the pressure situation. Of course, it's an exciting time, but beneath all the excitement, now you are here. So there's that expectation. And if there's one person I think about, is Ms. Fine and his own history with because his run with the Ivorian under-20 was horrible. People didn't like him. Now he guides the senior team to an AFCON final, and we'll see. But Edwin, I'm sure you want to highlight a few interesting things from that semi-final.
We mentioned the Ivory Coast and how they could have scored a few more goals. But in these couple of clips, I would like to show you what they did in the game against the DR Congo first few clips, you can see that how they set up. They wanted to attack from the wings. The wing play was very important to them. And I'd like to stop it here. We talked about them missing Sebastien Haller for much of the tournament. And this is why he is very important. He's a good striker, first place. He has a lot of quality. But he's also very tall. I know that's not the strongest part of his game, but he's still a tall player, very imposing, has aerial ability, and can dominate in the air. So this provided an outlet for the Ivory Coast players. Previously in the tournament, they used to not focus too much on wing play through the middle, try and get into good positions before taking their shots. Now they have so many options they can go to. And here you can see Haller. Let's pick orange for Haller. Haller making the run. In previous games, you wouldn't have that. You probably wouldn't have a striker who is determined to get into the box and have wingers or fullbacks who are determined to put the ball into the box for him. But this changed in this game. Once he started, they knew they had an outlet. He delayed the cross until Haller was close enough to the box. Obviously, the ball didn't get to him. And this is the importance of wingers too. They know when to come into the box and add to the striker and make it a double, maybe add to the threats that the central striker provides. And Adingra is one case of that. His header was not the best, but at least he got into that position. So having those two players, Haller and Adingra, both of whom missed significant portions of the tournament for the Ivory Coast, was very important for them in this game because both were cool, were very good in this game. Another move starting from the outside. And over here, the DRC picked up on the fact that the Ivory Coast were looking to aim for Haller, looking to put balls into the box as much as possible. So what they did was they overloaded the right side whenever it got to the wings. And they put a couple of players. They ensured they had a couple of players behind or in front of Haller to prevent him from getting around in on goal. Also had one player in front of Adingra, I believe, to prevent him from getting a run up and go. So this was a proper setup. But then what it does is opens up the possibility for the Ivory Coast to break through that defense with short passes. Now they have so many options that the DRC have to think about what exactly they are going to do in what particular moment. So now they can pass it through the middle. The ball eventually gets to Frank Kessier. and he takes the shot immediately. Over here, I don't think there are any other options available to him. It was a decent shot, and it hits the post. So a few options there.
I'm happy you said it was decent because, like Coach Nimley always says, if a shot hits the post, it's a poorly taken shot. The goal is an immovable object. So.
but the interesting thing is, let's go back. The interesting thing is he is under severe pressure from the defender right here. So even getting the shot off in the first place is very important. Second of all, it's on his weaker side, his left side, and he still manages to get it on target, past the goalkeeper and onto the post. Even though the pole doesn't move, the goalpost doesn't move, it's still a decent effort enough. Once you hit any part of this target, you could get a rebound. If he was on his toes, he could make the run. If Haller was probably on his toes a little earlier, he could get in on the rebound if it was closer to goal. But a decent enough effort from Frank Kessié there. So chances for the Ivory Coast could have scored more than the one they got. We'll get to the Haller goal now, the goal that they did eventually score in the game against the DRC. And over here, I'd like to blame, first of all, these two players, these two defenders right here. Let's start it over, slow it down so we take the move. There are two players marking the crosser of the ball. And he is right-footed. When a player is right-footed on that side of the pitch, you do not show him onto his right foot. You don't allow him to make a run onto his right foot. Show him onto his weaker foot. Allow him to go back. And most of all, you do not allow him to put the ball into the back of into the box.
Okay.
What they did was these two players did not offer enough protection. First of all, this defender should understand that he has a teammate on this side. He should not be showing him on the outside. And he does exactly that. Allows the Ivorian to get past him and then put a ball into the box. That was poor defending on his part. Secondly, our defender right here misses the ball. Poor timing. So he is also at fault. But the goalkeeper, I think he is most at fault in this move. First of all, you are not the tallest goalkeeper. Understood. You are not the tallest goalkeeper. The ball is inside the box. I'll get it if he was off his line significantly, if the ball was probably closer to the center line, closer to the middle of their half. The ball is in your penalty box. And you are not the tallest. You need to be as close to your line as possible so that you can be able to cover as much of the space as you can. He steps off his line, and then Haller gets a lucky bounce, so he is unable to reach the ball. Had he been on his line, he'd probably been in a better position to at least tip it over the bar, even if he couldn't grab it. Tip it onto the bar. Anything else, look at how far he is from his line. Just look at this, how far he is from his line. He should be right on his line. There's no reason for him to be stepping up and trying to claim the ball. The fact that the ball was so far away from his goal made it impossible for him to reach in any case, to come out and reach. So having noticed that, he probably should have stepped back onto his line, made himself a little bigger, knowing his deficiencies, to be able to save that ball. Of course, he wouldn't have expected Haller to hit it into the ground and up over him, but as a goalkeeper, you need to plan for these things. And he has to accept the blame for this goal in particular. Poor goal for him to concede. And eventually ended up costing his country a place in the AFCON final.
Interesting stuff. The guys, thoughts? I look at the goalkeeper.
I struggle to blame the goalkeeper so much because the thing you do when a cross is sent into the box would be to move an inch, some few inches close. I mean, if you are anticipating or trying to, get yourself into position, because it will be very bad on your part to just stay on your line sometimes.
No, but I kind of disagree because I don't think the cross is coming into the mix. If you look at it, the cross
was going outside.
Yeah, it was going away. Okay.
I mean, it was a quick cross, so you are like, okay, let me just move some steps to see where the cross is getting into. So, but it's the way the ball bounced. It bounced and it went very high before it dipped into the into the post.
But
So,
at that point, if you are on your line, I think you're on the online, you tip that.
I mean, yeah, I get the fair criticism, but it's not something I would.
What, if you run it again, if you
It's
run it on
100% his fault.
It's 100%.
It's 100%.
right, and then now you watch the sequence.
He is
I
so
think if
flawless.
he's on his post, I think he's
If
on his
you are
line.
coming
he's on
out,
his
if
line,
you are
he
coming
takes
out,
over.
if you are coming out, it means you are getting something on the ball. This is nowhere close to you.
You see,
Because
I
again,
don't
if
know.
you, for example, the reason why I kind of disagree with you
Yeah.
is that look at Alai's body language. Alai takes a shot, and you can tell that as he takes it, he knows that this is a bad shot. He knows I haven't connected well. Look at his reaction as he looks. He's not even expectant of anything.
because clearly it wasn't meant. He wasn't so sure.
Yes.
But I mean, it's the way the ball hits the ground, goes very high, and gets into the post. So I somewhat agree, but I struggle to blame him. That's the point I'm making. I struggle to blame him so much because some of these things, I mean, it's very difficult. I mean,
So,
I think the keeper. And
Poor
you see, we are
goalkeeper.
talking about keepers who have not been convincing in this tournament. It's also one keeper who has not convinced me. So it's called
DR
impasse. Because the truth is, when the cross comes in, as a keeper, you are coming out because you are going to parry the ball or get something on the ball. It's nowhere close your box. You shouldn't be this far out.
I mean, it's not so far out, Safo.
But he's still not
It's
on his
not
line.
so far.
I know
think
for
the
your
danger-
height.
If you ask me, Kwame, when you run that, I want you to watch what he does.
Yes.
As he gets ready to make.
As he gets ready to make the save, instead of moving back, he actually approaches the
Okay,
ball.
you let
So
it play. Kwame, and watch it
let's let
carefully.
run
Watch the
for a bit,
goalkeeper's
and
feet.
then you take a look at
Right?
the goalkeeper.
So the ball, yes, cross comes in.
cross comes in.
Alai touches it. Watch,
And
watch.
then he moves forward instead of
So
backing
you see-
off and saving
Uh-huh.
it. He
The bouncing
expected.
ball. It's the way the
He
ball
didn't
bounces.
expect it, but as a keeper to, like we say, be more proactive than reactive.
I just
Some of these
felt-
are reflex, some are quick actions that I mean you
True.
just
Fair point,
can't.
fair
You
point,
just
fair
can't.
point. I get you. The reason why I hold him responsible for, if you ask me, the entire the chain of decisions, starting from the fact that he's at his near post, he's watching the action. The cross comes. If the cross is bending towards you,
Yeah.
you can say that, okay, let me step out a little, or it's going into the mixer.
Yeah.
This cross is going far. It's not even the cross that's bending. The cross is hit hard.
Yeah.
It's flying across his area. So he's at the first post. He shuffles. So if you ask me, just stay on your line, turn and look at the action.
Yeah.
He goes off his line. Alai, again, look at how much Alai has to do.
Okay.
Step backwards, turn, swivel, and then the hop. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a goalkeeper.
Someone. Okay, I was a goalkeeper, so that's why I'm being a bit more biased.
Yes.
You know why?
Okay.
See, let's just look at the action again,
Again.
right?
Okay. So we are looking at the.
So when
Alai.
the crosser of the
When
ball,
the-
Gardel,
Yes.
gets to the byline, he's at the first post,
Okay.
anticipating maybe first a cutback coming in, so he could perhaps dive and be the first to have the ball. Now it comes out that it's a cross that is coming. He doesn't move too far away from the 16-yard box.
Of course.
he's just
He's still there.
some few yards away.
right.
Yes. So he'll see. So he moves, trying to get to the middle.
I think
And then he
Trying to
approaches
get.
instead
So
of
you
backing.
watch it carefully. Trying to get
Go
to
back
the
a
middle.
little bit. Let me show you something. Here is fine. It's about his turning. He doesn't move in
So
a like,
trying to
straight
get to
line.
the
He
middle.
moves a little bit forward. Trying to get to the middle.
Trying to get to the middle, not be on the line, because the Haller shot could have been a very good connect.
Yeah, and it could have been.
It would have been a good connect where it would have been
So
a
it hits it-
middle.
yes,
So
it hits it
I
flat.
am flat, so I could go down easily, or I could go mid-air
Yeah.
to be able to save it. But the bounce is the problem. And where he is, he's not too far from the line. That's why I'm saying that, yes, I get the point that we are all making here, but I struggle to put the whole blame
you
on him.
blame him.
Like,
You feel that he did.
yes, see, he's not too far. So like if Haller could have gotten a very good connect on the ball, it would have gone maybe mid-air for him to be able to dive very
We've
well.
seen
But the
instances.
bounce.
We've
feel
seen
that the bounce
instances.
changes
the bounce.
We've seen
Before I
instances
get
where
back to Edwin.
keepers are even on their line and they've been able to be chipped. And that's because
when you are on your line,
even on your line, and it's a Messi. Messi is the first person who made me see that. The thing is, when he was moving to the middle, yes, he's not that far off, but the moment where you are like a little bit forward, it means, and you are not the tallest goalkeeper. If this was a tall goalkeeper, the moment he's touching the ball, you don't move to the middle whilst moving forward at the same time, because if you see, his positioning was okay, but when he moved to the middle, I think first of all, the space to the left he wasn't really in the middle.
Again,
and he was a little bit forward too.
Just hold it there. Just before the ball is kicked.
Let's go back to
He's
before.
not really in the middle.
I'm just trying to figure out his position as there. So his position now, so his position is in relation to where Halle is and what he's seeing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is where I come in with.
The
If Halle had a clean connect to the ball, depending on whether it's because it would have been a volley.
Yes.
So it would have been a bit high up where he could probably dive cleanly and get it. But the ball hitting the ground
Perfectly.
and bouncing,
Yeah.
it's
I agree. The reason
understand.
why, okay,
It's
you
a-
finish
it's a
so that Edwin gets
It's
it. The reason why I fault the goalkeeper slightly, in all of the, I can grant it, I'm with you up until this point, and I agree that he sees, he reacts, he readjusts his position and everything. This is where I have a problem with the goal. Edwin, you let the clip run, and I'll point out to you. So now he's trying to set his feet. He sets his feet. Good. Watch what he does. He sets his feet, hops, and that slight hop forward is the window that allows the bounce, I think, to beat him.
But we should not lose sight of the height
hop
one
forward.
plus the action. It's a quick action, and he's not the tallest, like you guys say.
He
He's
would
not
have
the
hopped
tallest.
backwards.
So
He's
I
not the
also
tallest.
think that also is a bit of a disadvantage.
Yes, it's
in
not the
that
tallest.
position.
It's not the
So,
tallest.
for
So that's
example,
it.
if he were tall, he makes up for
With his height.
yeah,
and
with
his
the height.
span.
This is hard.
And he hopped forward. He hopped
This is
forward.
very,
I think.
very
Edwin, that's final thought. So again, you point out the goalkeeping. You say this is an error. He
Yeah.
commits an error.
Yeah, very much an error in my opinion. First, the hop forward. And as a goalkeeper in this position, if you are anticipating, you don't anticipate that Halle is going to take a shot. So what are you coming forward for? You anticipate that your defender has this clearly covered for. He's going to head it out. So him taking the step forward off his line, that was very unnecessary on his part. And then the extra step when the ball was hit, it gave, as you said, the window for the ball to bounce over his
I
head.
always say if there's something I'd love to do, it's like, if I were doing it, I'd find the goalkeeper and just ask him. Because I like to know his thought process and run him through. Because we do that for strikers and mid, when they score goals, we say, oh, what was going on? Can you tell us your thought process? I'd love to know.
But an innocuous thing, and I don't think it was that innocuous because Edwin pointed that out. It's the ability of defenders to shepherd wingers out of their favorite foot. And we saw that yesterday in the Nigerian game. I think South Africa were on an Ajayi. It was basically a one-on-one. He was able to shepherd the player from the danger zone far to the end. And I think that's what two defenders couldn't do. They were easily beaten. And so it's just it was a mixture of errors from them. And they had it coming, to be very honest.
All right. Edwin, I'm sure we'll talk about South Africa.
Yes,
that's a lot to talk about.
That's a lot.
But guys, let's wrap it up on Cote d'Ivoire and DR Congo. Let me start off with you. The Ivorians are here, like we've established. They've gone round and round and round. They are here. How much of all of this will you credit to just tactical intelligence, player quality? Because away from everything, you need somebody to guide things from the line, and you need players to execute. If you had to, which players will you highlight and say that they've carried the Ivorians to this point?
Seko Fofana is one. I think we spoke extensively about him not being one of the guys the Ivorians really thought or had a very good connection with the Ivorian people and all of that. He showed a lot more commitment. He showed a lot more character, and tactically too, he has been very aware. I make reference to the game against Senegal. He was fantastic in that game, picking the ball from Seri, trying to move with the ball. And even the game against Mali, the number of times he tries to take a shot at a point where the goal that Citi had to score, it had to be his shot from outside the box. So he provides that man, that extra man outside the box option to be able to take that shot and all that to confuse some of these opponents that they play against. And then looking at MS5, one of the key things he has done that has really helped the team tactically has been his timely substitutions.
Okay.
I've always credited him for that.
He makes the change at the right time.
At the right time. Frank Kessié coming in the game against Senegal. Right time. You look at the second half substitution in the Mali game. He realized that Uriye is hot-headed. He's on a yellow card. Let me take him out. Quickly took Uriye out. I think the one that he delayed, but that one, I don't fault him so much, was the Kosunu. He was just having a disaster. I don't know what a coach would have done at that point. Maybe try and quickly hook him out. But you would, as a coach, you would feel that, let me give it a bit of time for him to settle.
See if he settles.
If he settles. But it just kept going on and on and on. That's one bit. So that's Singo coming on, Halle coming on, Adingra, the timing, some of these substitutions have been made. That's been a coach that is, although emotionally charged, but reading the game to know which substitution I should make at this point. And he's been spot on with most of the substitutions he's made so far.
Safo,
I think Indika, the AS Roma guy, he's not been given the praises enough. He's been the constant defender throughout, from their drubbing to their high times. He's been very good.
He's played all the games?
He's played all the games. So Indika, Seko Fofana, and Conan. And my guy, Diakite, even though he's not, because the forward of Ivory Coast keeps on changing, match in, match out. Their front three always keeps on changing. But what I notice about this is that you can have quality. It's just dependent on who is using that quality.
I see.
You can have Kudus, you can have Enes Nyama, you can have whosoever it is. Once the person, it's like chess. Once the person playing the chess is not utilizing them well, once the person has these attacking qualities but want to play defensive football, then you are not going to make the best out of the quality.
So effectively, player profile and coach's thinking must meet at a point.
Because as a coach, I would have probably preferred to play Jeremy Boga, because he's very good. But Jeremy Boga is barely seen, and I think the difference between the coach that was sacked, I keep on forgetting, Gasset. The difference between Gasset and Faye seems to know his players more than Gasset. I think Gasset is more reliant on big names, because Sangare is a big player for them. For him to drop Sangare, play Seri, who is now in Hull City and his high days are over, it means he really knows the players more. And when we're in Cote d'Ivoire, my Ivorian friends were saying Gradel is old, so Gradel can play. Similar to how we are saying someone is old here, but you give Gradel the armband and he performs the tasks he's given. So I think a very big shout out to MS5. He's done a tremendous job.
All right, MS5 getting a lot of love and praise on the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We'll take a